Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another AFLW Fantasy Fanatics Round 8 preview. We are recording live on Friday, the 18th of October, ahead of Round 8 of the AFLW Fantasy season. We've only got 3 rounds left, so not too long to go until the end of the season. And hopefully, we're pushing for top 100, top 1,000, wherever goal you're aiming for, even maybe top 10 if you're looking for the Hilux or whatever like that. So we'll see how we go. But I'm your host, Bales, and you can find me at BalesDT across the socials. And as always, if you guys are tuning in live on YouTube and would like a player discussed or a question answered, then put it in the live chat and we'll get to those when we can. But joining me, as always, is my co-host and fellow AFLW Fantasy Fanatic, is Jaiden Poposky. Jaiden, mate, how are you?
Hey, Bowers. Yeah, good to be here. And we've had so much time to kind of plan what we've done this week. So whether you like that or not, it's always good because you can weigh up a lot of different options.
Exactly. Yeah, it feels weird to have a couple of days looking at trades and thinking of what we're going to do instead of just going Sunday pod, Monday, Tuesday games again. So it's good. Bit of time to think of what we're actually going to be doing. So, well, leading into that, I guess there's probably not really many major topics this week. We're just back to 3 trades. We're looking at every player. So we'll probably just really dive straight into what we're looking at doing this week. So I think we're in a position where a lot of other people are in as well. So Jaiden, talk us through what you're looking at your trades, and I'll discuss my trades, and then we'll look into the most traded out players in a sec. But talk to us about what you're looking at doing with your moves this week.
Yeah, so fairly similar to what I talked about on Monday. The main goal is to get rid of Maddie Prasparkas and Friswell. To kind of do that, I did make a trade last night. I traded Goldrick down to Karen Peterson. It didn't work out that well, only 29 points. I was kind of hoping like Gab Pound has taken like 40 kick-ins over the last few weeks, and then Peterson came back in the team, took the kick-ins back, had 5 last week, and Carlton had the best fixture home for defenders, and for someone under 500k, like it's pretty much like rookie price in this. So I just took a punt there. I don't know about Goldrick also. With the role, a bit iffy. So I've gotten rid of her to Peterson. Didn't work out for the points, but it's given me money. So I've brought in Garner and McDonough in the forward line against AEST this week. I think the Hawks can probably dominate. There's no Bodie as well, so hopefully a lot of the plays go through her.
Yeah, I like it. I like the McDonough move. It looked good last week, and yeah, obviously Jazz Garner. I've been on her for a couple of weeks, and thankfully, with obviously for some people, not thankfully, with Laura Gardner being out last week, but that meant I held on to Garner because Garner was actually the one that was going for me. So I probably dodged. A bit of luck went my way, which was good for once. Had a bit of unlucky things happen this year, but in terms of my moves this week, I'm just doing the 2 rookie downgrades to upgrade Goldsworthy. So I'm going Best Shilling down to currently got Gabby Bonenweek-Webster at the moment, just with the run coming up, and she's been fairly consistent over 20 points. So I've currently got her, but there's obviously a couple of options in defence. I'm looking forward to when Liam jumps on in maybe 5-10 minutes time, and we can discuss the rookie options, which the best defender one is, because Gabby Bonenweek-Webster's the one. She'll be coming in. Then going Carly Ramos down to, is it Hayley McLaughlin from Hawthorn? She's one of the more traded-in rookies this week as well. She's the only real mid-rookie that's playing that could potentially make some cash at 304k, so bringing her in. And then that gives me enough cash to go Goldsworthy up to Ash Riddell with 9k in the bank, which is nice. So gets Ash Riddell in finally. I've wanted her in all season. I think that she had 3 90s in a row. Tackles and marks have been down. I think that had a bit to do with not only the conditions in a couple of the games that North Melbourne have played in this year, but also with their double game week and condensed fixtures, the fact that they've been up by so much as well. She's probably been rested on the bench probably a tiny bit more than what they would want, whereas they've got Essendon and Adelaide in the next 2. I expect those games to be a bit closer than what their last couple of matchups have been. So I like Ash Riddell. I did look at Keely Shearer last night. I'm glad I didn't go that option. I brought her in Bolter, and she was not great, unfortunately. 2 handball happy and Carlton were just awful last night. And then I was looking at Ash McCarthy as well, who could also go quite well. She's got a nice run to finish the season as well. So if you are tuning in live, make sure you guys keep getting your questions in, and we'll be answering them very, very shortly. And also, if you haven't checked it out as well, me and Jordox recorded a AFL trade period recap where we look at all the players from an AFL fantasy perspective. So make sure you guys check that out if you sickos like me and Jordox looking at AFL Fantasy men's preseason already. And trade period's only just finished. So if you want to check that out, then make sure you do. Probably the last men's pod we do until maybe late December, early January when the game hopefully opens just before Christmas. That'd be nice. So, but yeah. So let's go through the most traded in and out players of the week. So we'll get Jaiden will be able to get those up for us because, and we thank Jaiden for doing all these numbers because they're not provided to us on the website yet. So hopefully that happens at some point. But here we go. Here are the most traded in and out players for Renault. So Jaiden, mate, do you want to talk us through the trade ins for the week?
Yeah, not heaps have changed since Monday, but Too Good remains the number one most traded in. Personally, I'm not doing it for the fixture. The next 2 weeks, not great on paper. I think Essendon probably lose both of those. So hopefully for Coach Skettinger in, she can kind of just do that 65 again. Doesn't have to be amazing. It just, for a price, just get that, maintain that kind of price. Again, I really like it because you're not paying up ridiculous amount in the forward line. And she's bottomed out, ready to go. So, yeah, very popular. There's a few rookies in there. People downgrading that ruck or second ruck, getting in a bench, or going up to Mim Strom on field from O'Dowd, fairly popular. Strom is very lowly owned, up in the high ranks, and I think maybe third or fourth best fixture for the rest of the year. O'Dowd's is quite good as well, but there is a bit of a difference in quality between them in terms of experience and scoring history. And then, the remainder of the popular trade-ins are all these primo mids, Riddell, Anderson and Garner. They're all about middle of the table fixtures home, but you're really just trading in for the quality, wanting to get that kind of completed team, looks good on paper. We know these players can score a 140. We know they have it in them. You're just hoping you pick the right one, because I feel like one of them probably will in the next 3 weeks. So hopefully you pick that correctly. Friswell and Goldsworthy, we're trading them out. So they're pretty popular, and other coaches just fixing up their rookies as well. If they've still got Goody, still got Beattie, still got Remos, or even still got Laura Gardner there. That's pretty much the lay of the competition.
Yeah. And those people trading at Laura Gardner as well, probably the unlucky coaches that locked in all their trades last week on the Tuesday/Wednesday, and then they found out on the Thursday that Gardner wasn't going to be playing. So that's unfortunate, and the reason that we need this bloody edit trade button in AFLW Fantasy next year. So hopefully we get that added. But in terms of the pre and mids, that's why I'm probably targeting Ash Riddell. And it probably sort of last night reaffirmed my sort of stance on why I wanted Ash Riddell over some of these other players. Because like Keely Shearer had a great matchup on paper, right? Bulldogs, great matchup. They've got good matchups to come. But she put up a floor score, and you don't see these scores coming from an Ash Riddell or a Jazz Garner or an Ebony Marinoff, or like even Rowbottom, like 77, like isn't absolutely awful when you compare it to some other pre mids where they're getting 50s and 60s. So that's why I like targeting those big mids. That's where, obviously, as you said, that's where you can get those massive scores. And also like Ali Anderson as well, with a good matchup in Geelong this week, could go quite big. So I like a few of those options there. If you had to pick one, Jaiden, out of Ash Riddell, Jazz Garner, and Ali Anderson, I know you've already got Ali Anderson and you're going Garner over Riddell. If you didn't have any of the three, how would you rank them in terms of preference this week?
In terms of this week, I probably, Anderson, you're right. Geelong have been giving up some points recently. They don't really have heaps of midfielders in there, like if compared to playing against like North or Adelaide, where they have pretty settled midfields. So Ali Anderson has, a positive fixture this week and for the rest of the year. North are just like bang on average, so not good, not bad. I'd probably go Anderson first as an owner. I guess she's pretty cheap. Had a good score last week as well, so ticks that box from a cash point of view. She's not going to lose heaps. Garner and Riddell's pretty interesting. I'm probably just going Garner because I can afford it and I want her. I think Riddell is an interesting one because I actually traded her out before these kind of low scores. Really only that Sydney game was the bad matchup. She didn't go well against the Dogs, but none of them really scored high. So she has bottomed out. People are going there. It's probably just more of a cash-related thing. I'm going Garner. Hopefully I'll get both of them, though, by the end of the year. Potentially trading out Hatchard after Collingwood. So, yeah, I'm thinking I'll just go Garner this week while I can afford it. And then, yeah, hopefully get Riddell later on.
Yeah, I think I agree. I'd be going, if I didn't have any of them, I'd be going Garner. I think I like the fact that she's really getting going now, like 2 scores over 130 points in the last 3. She scored 96 against the Bulldogs. Again, they're up by so much. Last quarter, she was pretty much forward for most of that quarter. So that could have been another 115, 120. And same thing with Carlton as well, where she got the 81. She rested forward a fair bit. And then she scored a 125 against Port Adelaide before that. So we know that when she's not being rested forward, she's going massive. And the next 2 matchups, I think, again, Essendon this week, I think that'll be a decent test for North Melbourne. I expect North Melbourne to win, but I expect Essendon still to go quite okay. And then the week after, obviously, you could arguably say it's one of the games of the season, being Adelaide and North Melbourne, which unfortunately I'm going to America day before that. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get some Wi-Fi on the plane, probably midway from Sydney to LA at that point, and hopefully I can get my trades and stuff sorted. But I wish I was going, because the Nord Oval would have been a really good game to have gone to. But that is fine. I'm going on holiday, so it's all good. But yeah, hopefully Garner can keep going. But yeah, with Riddell, I feel like Riddell scores well or better against the teams that are sort of mid to high table. She doesn't normally go massive against the lower teams. Like, she normally either rested on the bench a bit more. Like, the only game that she really went lower against a team that was good was Richmond, but we remember she was on the bench for like 15 minutes in the first quarter. Like, it was crazy how much she was on the bench. She got stuck because of the weather. So I expect Riddell to finish the season quite well, especially next week. I think the Crows match up. I've got 4 midfielders at the moment in that game. I could see all 4 going quite well, because I think that game was pretty high scoring last year. So we'll see how that goes. Final thing, just with the most trading outs for the week, with the Mim Strom move. Obviously, we know Mim Strom's a very good option to bring in, but with Fleur Davis not being there and O'Dowd having a decent matchup, what are your thoughts on maybe if coaches are looking at going, I can go Dowd up to Strom, or I can go Goldsworthy, start to Garner? Would you be now leaning towards the midfield upgrade instead, and maybe doing the Mim Strom move next week?
Yeah, I think I actually said the midfield move anyway before that kind of news came out. I just think that it's like 500k between O'Dowd and Strom. Like, I just don't really think I'm in a position to want to do that. And look, if you are, I know there's coaches that are, and they're very highly ranked and they have a lot of money. So it's a very luxury upgrade, but I don't really want to do that now because, yeah, it's just 500k. That's so much. And especially because, like, after these double game weeks, a lot of the midfielders have actually kind of gone down in value a lot. That there's a lot around that 1.2 or below, instead of, like the 1.4 area like they were before. So you're pretty much choosing between Strom and a midfielder for the exact same price. And yeah, I think O'Dowd will be all right. Just hopefully get the job done. She did play against Jess Allen last week. So hopefully that's more of a consideration that Adelaide's a very restricted matchup. So hopefully O'Dowd has a little bit of a boost just from the fact that she played a difficult matchup last week. Maybe she scored a little bit under her normal, get a little bit up from that. And yeah, it's just 500k, and I'm not really willing to pay that in my position.
Yeah, and I'm in the same position as well. I think if you're in the position to do it, then 100% go for it, because Mim Strom's a great option. But with O'Dowd, she hasn't gone below 60 all season, and she's did that once, and she's done a few six. She loves scoring 62. She's done it 3 times this year. So she's been really consistent. So I don't think it's if you've got other issues, I think that you can probably fix those up first. But you're talking about the mids, though. Like, you've got a heap of midfielders that have dropped in price. Like, it's crazy when you think Marinoff's gone up nearly 300k for the season, which is ridiculous. But you look at Garner has gone down 229k. Riddell's gone down 217k. Charlie Robon's gone down 260k. Even Matty Praspas has gone down 128k, and Hatchard 219k. So a few of these mids have gone down quite substantially through maybe a poor squadron doubles or something happening. So I think that they're some good targets to potentially be looking at, as you say, Jaiden. So, but joining us now, it's a very special guest, obviously from the free kick on the official. Oh, hang on, did you hear that, Jaiden? I'm coming out of bloody Liam's microphone. I don't know what's going on there, but anyway, we've got Liam from the free kick official AFLW Fantasy podcast. Liam, mate, how are you? I don't know what's going on there. I was thinking that was it was off-putting for myself here of me speaking to myself, but well, I'm sure we'll get the technical difficulties figured out in a second. We'll be able to get Liam on, but we'll answer a couple of super chats here. Just in the meantime, we got Corey Blackledge with the first one, so thanks very much, mate. He says thoughts on Whitford in for Shelley Heath, Goody to McLaughlin to get the cash, and then Huntington to Too Good. Jaiden, what are your thoughts on those moves?
Whitford is interesting. I haven't seen her name pop up. And then, yeah, Goody's a downgrade. Huntington's Too Good. Personally, I'm not sure on Whitford. I think she's just come off that injury game, first game back against Sydney. The break even's pretty high at 99, and she's priced at 83. So she's pretty much got an averaging. I mean, that's a bit under, but right. So yeah, 1.06 million you've got. I suppose we could have a look at the options around that price.
So under Whitford, you've got is it's probably there's not too many. Like if you can get to at least par, that's 22k more expensive. Ty Smith is 25k more. That's probably where you're looking there. Then you've got under $1 million. You've got names like Nina Morrison, Sophie Conway, Tyler Hanks. Yeah, there's obviously slim pickings, I think. I don't know if there's too many names I necessarily would be trading into below that. So I guess it's probably Corey Whitford's probably the best player that you can get at that price, I'd imagine, for Corey. So, yeah. Oh, sorry, I only have 1.062. So I don't know. Would you be going Elise Parker in that scenario? Because she's obviously 1K less than that.
She's 1K more than that.
Oh, sorry, 1K more. Sorry.
But I think, yeah, Bates is the next one down. She's got 2 positive matchups over the next 2 and coming off 2 90s. So I don't mind that. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure her midfield time's been pretty high all year. Yeah, so she's the number 1 mid at Hawthorn. So I quite like that. As an option. Bates.
Oh, and we still got the echo from Liam. Hang on, might have to try doing this. Hang on, see if this works. We'll see if that's still going. I'll have to put Liam on mute for a sec. Maybe if you can hear us, maybe might have to just jump out and then jump back in, I reckon, to fix it. Because I don't know why the echo's doing it. I've never seen that before. So, yeah, Bates is probably the pick I'd go from. I'm never really don't want to go into a player that's just coming off an injury as well. So, yeah, I think Bates could be the player that you go for there. And we'll answer this other super chat here from Sam. So thank you very much, Sam, as well. So he says, trading at Hetherington and Goldrick, which combo should I get? Number 1 is Goodwin and McDonough. 2, Guttridge and Newman. Or 3, Goodwin and Brennan. I think probably 2 we can probably rule out. I know Newman's good, but I don't know if we're bringing in a rookie on field at this point. So I prefer... Well, Goodwin's an interesting one. She's got a good matchup this week. She's been solid for the Crows this year. I think I'd probably prefer McDonough over Brennan. But what are your thoughts on Goodwin as an option?
Yeah, McDonough's I'm going for her. I've considered Brennan as well, just for the price. And yeah, she's playing Melbourne this week, Essendon next week, 2 kind of positive matchups. I But yeah, both of Melbourne and Essendon are probably going to challenge Richmond a bit. So I'm kind of just going for the downhill. Hopefully McDonough can kick like 3 goals in a flogging against GWS or something. So that's where I'm leaning. I'm not really sure on Goodwin. So
I'm looking here.
Break even of 29. I'm thinking that
78 and 64 in our last 2. Got Collingwood. Funny enough, I did actually sort of dismiss the Guttridge option just because I thought of being a rookie, but I'd almost lean towards the Guttridge option now looking at it, because you get Matty Newman in, and Guttridge has been solid the last 2 games. It's got Port tonight, and she can make a bit of cash for you. I'm not sure I'd be going Goodwin because she's got North the week after, which if you get stuck with her, I'm not sure if you'd want to be doing that. I'm just having a look if there's any other players below Goodwin's price that you'd look at. You've got Geordie Allen there, but she's obviously been very up and down this year. There's not really, there's not too many.
So Goodwin's break even is 29. So if she could pop, say, like a 60 again, then she's probably looking at being like 730k, which is pretty solid. You could just flip it straight away, and that's really the best break even that you have around that price. Georgia Stathis and Gorham would have been the pick, I think,
Georgia Stathis
there. But yeah, so yeah, you could. Goodwin's probably just a money related play. I don't mind it. You could just get her off for next week. Great matchup against Collingwood this week, so. Yeah, look, you could go for that. The only issue would probably be that you're looking to trade with McDonough. I'm getting her in, maybe hold next week as well against Melbourne. But it'll depend how well kind of Brennan goes this week against Melbourne, I think, will be my deciding factor there. But then you could want to be getting rid of both of them at around the same time. So it's whether you want to go for that keeper or just go for the points and the money.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if Sam's got her, but if you get a Newman and Michaela Pounga, if you don't have Pounga in your side, she's 7k cheaper than Guttridge at 430k. If you can do Newman and Pounga, that's probably the option you look at. But I'm assuming you've probably got Pounga because you're suggesting someone else. So, but yeah, a couple of decent options there. So we'll try again. We'll see if Liam's jumping on. Liam, mate, how are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Bale. Sorry about
Beautiful.
that.
No, all good.
Have retried my recording setup there. I've been using a new splitter for microphone and headphones, and I reckon quite literally some wires were getting crossed. So sorry about that kerfuffle.
No, all good, mate. All good. Glad to have you on tonight. So obviously we're just chatting through that. So probably just get your quick thoughts on the 2 super chats that we had there. So I'll just repop the first one up from Corey as well. We were saying probably not going Whitford and going an Emily Bates in, but we tick off the 3 trades. Your thoughts on those 3 moves?
To Hayley McLaughlin, Huntington to Too Good. Like, I have some pretty serious concerns going Too Good this week, but worst comes to worst, she's popular. You're kind of insulated from the risk. I'm not sure about Whitford either. If you can't make the cash work to Bates, I would be having a look at, oh my goodness, what's her name? Abby Dowrick is under under a mil at 9.86, and she's got 3 easy matchups for the rest of the season. But yeah, Bates is definitely the one that I'd be targeting.
Yeah, agreed. No, Derek shout is a good one. And then the other super chat, we're just chatting about the options. Yeah, obviously, as we said, probably if you can get Pounga over Guttridge, but if you can't, or if Sam's already got, he's already got Pounga there. So, Goodwin and McDonough or Guttridge and Newman, which combo?
So I'm just trying to look. How much is Goodwin? 657.
Yeah.
Look, I heard Jaiden there. I don't love it, kind of, and the potential requirement to trade out, possibly next week. But I do think that McDonough, I'm not feeling as though she absolutely has to get sold. Either next week or the week after, as much as she's got a hard matchup in Richmond. Tell that to Ashley Maloney, who it's a bit of a trope that I might say this, but that's probably one of her closest facsimiles when it comes to the way that she plays. And Maloney just had a 90-something odd against Richmond last week. So I do think it really affects those stay-at-home forwards. I'd love to know. And this is like light years ahead of the data that we've got given for the AFLW, kind of what scoring might be for those kind of higher half forwards or those athletic forwards. So on that basis, I think going McDonough is a good idea. And I think Goodwin's probably up for a 60, 70 this week against Collingwood in a cruisy matchup.
Yeah. And you'll be doing that over Guttridge and Newman?
Yes.
Yeah. No.
I just think that like Newman's so far, like so substantially expensive, and then has North, which I think could be a real tough matchup for someone like her, because I think she will be someone that really does get targeted as a key cog off their kind of wing half forward.
Yeah, agreed. So yeah, what moves are you looking at doing this week, Liam? Obviously, we heard a bit on last night on the on-air spaces, but what are you looking at doing? Have they changed at all?
No, they haven't changed at all. So I'm going Hetherington to Kikoak, Friswell to McDonough, and Chaplin to Gilroy.
Yeah. So for the people that might not have heard, obviously we're just chatting about McDonough there, but Gilroy, I think she's a good option with some good matchups to come as well. Your thoughts on her, and maybe if people are looking at her as well?
Yeah, I think it's a case of I don't believe that there's that many great targets for me, at least, for defenders that are under 900K, in which case I need to kind of shop a little bit cheaper. I think she might get lost a little bit because obviously she shows up as a defender, but what she actually plays is half forward, wing. Now, there's obviously word that Greta Bodie is out. I think that type of scoring is now like taken in by Gilroy. They play a similar role, just on different sides of the ground sometimes. And, 2 good matchups in the next 2 weeks, and then a tougher one up against Richmond. But I have some hope.
Yeah, no, exactly right. I like the Gilroy pick as well. And then the final sort of question we'll get into before we get into all these questions here is some, I guess, the rookie picks. I think McLaughlin's the probably obvious one in the midfield. There's not too many other options there as well. But just in defence, Liam, this is something that I'm looking at, and I think a few people may be looking at as well if they're downgrading a best shilling sort of type defender. There's a couple of options there. You've got obviously Jazz Ferguson being at 309K. You got a couple of others, and then you've got like a Gabby Bynum-Webster. You've got a ball from Port Adelaide. There's a couple of options. Who do you think are the best option? Yeah, Jenna Ramsdale as well.
Look, I kind of spruiked Bynum-Webster a little bit just because of the good run. She's not a defender again. She plays more as a forward. And with some of the injuries out, I think she might have a slightly better role or a little bit higher time on ground with Hayley Miller out. I don't mind Ramsdale. Borg, I just can't get a sense of when it's going to be good or when it's going to be crap. Like, I did not think that she was a player capable of scoring 57. Lo and behold, she does it in week 3. And then the last 3 weeks, it's been 29, 7, and 20. I think it's a fine stab to take. I don't actually have her break even right in front of me. But there's just not a whole lot of options this week that are below that 350K mark with low break evens.
Yeah, well, luckily we've got the break even man on here. Jaiden, what are some of the break evens of these cheaper defender rookies?
Well, whilst Jaiden looks it up, I'm going to spruik for something. Your fantasy break evens page, excellent. I'd love for the ability to sort or filter below a certain price. Because that's quite often what I'm doing. I'm like, all right, I need to look through the trash to find something to make everything else work at this stage of the season. Is that at all possible? You can tell me yes and then come back to me in a DM later and say no, and I won't be offended.
Yeah, well, the issue is that I have it set the other way around, and I have it like... No. So maybe it's... Yeah, maybe it's worth flipping it for the break-evens page. Yeah, I could do that. Or maybe I like set the price stat column, maybe just the other way around.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
I'm not the best. I'm not the best with I need to set up filters maybe above the table and then they interact with it. But yeah, I'm not across that yet. I suppose in terms of the defenders, there's not heaps with the break evens are a little bit hard to read because I guess you can't really. I don't really know what I'm saying, but that a little bit.
I was intently listening. I was like, "What's Jaiden trying to get at?" And he was just like, "So," and I was like, "What's he saying?"
Yeah, no, I was kind of meaning they're a bit hard to read because they're kind of close to what a basement needs to do anyway. Because they've all gone up. In the men's, we have 50 years to make break-even plays. The players take so long to increase in price. So in this, you are kind of just going for the points instead of thinking about the cash too much. Because like I said, in men's, you could just play a straight bat, get the break-evens. And I actually think that's why we end up with so similar teams in that. And in this, you'll be trading out a player and someone else will be trading them in. So that's what I really love about this format. What about Lauren Butler? What do you think about that? Break-even of 22. I think she scored pretty poorly in a return game, but last week at 38. So maybe, and she's 342.
I just don't like the role. She's forward. She's not playing in defence, which is the thing that sucks. And I guess Collingwood have got a Grace Campbell back this week. If she plays more forward, does that mean Butler goes back into defence? I don't know. It's one of those ones, as you say, that with AFLW Fantasy, you sort of got to take a stab at one of these defender rookies and just sort of hope that they pop off. And then they can, if Lauren Butler went and got a 70 this week, she's going up 100, 150K straight up. So, I'm not sure. Liam, thoughts on Butler?
Yeah, Butler's definitely one to look at. The obvious concern is she's playing forward in an incredibly brutal matchup this week against Adelaide. Who she get one-on-one? She gets Zoe Prowse. Probably gets two defenders on her because, there's probably going to be a drifter. They're probably going to have a spare, or the kicks are going to be rushed because Adelaide are just that much better and Collingwood are injured. I think she's really going to struggle to do much at all. One to look at, and this is a real sicko play. Jazz Ferguson has a break-even of 14. She goes up against Essendon. Have a look at what defenders scored against Essendon last week. Now, you can tell me, Liam, that game was ridiculous. There were 14 defenders for the Bulldogs behind the ball. The ball lived in the D50 and the halfback for the Dogs. Yes, I know. But 14 is 14. And there are not many other defender options that are that cheap who have a break-even that's low.
Well, see, that's who I was looking at because I can, with the trades I'm doing, I can exactly afford to have 0K in the bank. So I'm partly thinking, do I go a Jazz? Would you go Jazz Ferguson over any of the 300Ks? Bonnie Webster, Borg, any of the 300Ks? Would you be going Ferguson over to maybe take a stab at that break even and just maybe hope for a 50 and you can get 70, 80, 90K from her?
I don't think you're getting a 50 from Jazz Ferguson. I don't think she's ever scored a 50. If I'm being, if my memory serves correctly, I could be wrong. I'm going to check now. Jasmine Ferguson. I just also think this is a very real world where she just doesn't actually interact that much with the ball. Because the Bombers will not be able to keep up with North in the same way that there was very bad defender scoring against when the Bombers played Fremantle at Windy Hill in week 1. Look, the matchups are best for the rest of the season for Beaton-Webster, which is kind of why I've advocated for it because I don't think there's any smash plays that immediately scream out to me. I'm probably saying I maybe need 2 weeks to be able to generate enough cash to make it a meaningful downgrade. And that's kind of why I'm leaning in that direction.
Yeah. And the other reason I'm probably slightly leaning towards the Probably Webster option is if I fall 9K short on my trades next week or within 9K, then I'll probably be annoyed, especially if Ferguson doesn't if she only gets like a 20, which she's done for most of the games this year as well. So, yeah, I might be leaning that way as well. And final thing, then we'll get to some questions, is we'll go to the captain's expert and we'll have a look at some captains. Liam, who are you looking at this week? I think we know who number one is, but who are some other good options that you could consider or might even help with sort of trade-ins?
So unsurprisingly, Ebony Marinoff is one. She's just kind of at the stage you'd be mad to try and take her on. And again, has an excellent matchup. Second for me is Jazz Garner up against Essendon. The Bombers are not a great matchup for midfielders, but I also think Jasmine Garner says effort to the scale of hardness in much the same way Noffy does. And I definitely think she's in a great vein of form, and the Bombers just probably don't have the stoppage structure to be able to beat her. So that's why I'm Jazz Garner 2. Monconti at 3 for me. Now this is one that does come with a little bit of risk. Melbourne have obviously been a very easy matchup at points this year, but they're now back and mainly healthy. The reason why I think Monconti is still 3 is that I still don't know if Mick Stinier is going to be willing to try and sacrifice, a midfield structure that's still trying to get back to grips with itself by throwing in Shelley Heath with the tag. And outside of that, I just think that Monconti is allowed to do what she wants to do for a lot of the game. And so she's at 3. 4 is Ash Riddell, same reasons as Jazz Garner, probably just not in as good a form. And then 5 is Mim Strom up against West Coast. I had got other options to consider that included Keely Sherrard. They did not include Izzy Pritchard, who had 104-point score after quarter time. Anne Hatchard is an option. Ali Anderson's an option. Sophia Hurley, who's in outstanding form, is also an option. And then Ash McCarthy, I would also throw up there.
Yeah. Sophia Hurley's been fantastic. I was talking with Tom on our Game Day Squad show last night, and she's definitely going to be a very, very good player, and especially for us fantasy coaches as well in future years. But obviously, we've all got Marinoff captain. Has anyone got? I've got Robon and vice captain, just because I've got a loop after, so I can have a bit of a look at Robon. If she went 150, then I'd probably take it. But is anyone doing any loops, or are we all just backing in Marinoff straight up, no loops, and moving on?
Not bothering with the loop. I've only got EK Smith because Celine played and scored well. Yeah.
I saw the Discord. A few people were pretty happy with the Celine Moody score as well. So, Jaiden, have you got any loops? Looking at anyone?
I'm glad I've got all 3 of Liam's top options. I did have it on Conti, but I'm trading in Ghana. So, are they playing before? Yeah, Noffy's the last game. But I wouldn't be able to, maybe I'll have to leave it on Conti then. I guess Conti. I've got Chloe Adams, who could be a looper, but I'm not devastated if Conti goes 125 and I can't take it. I'm not devo because Marinoff. As the fallback.
What would you need from Conti? Is it 140, 150 plus that you look at? Because it is quite men's fantasy. We're so used to going 110 plus, you take it. 120, you definitely take it. Whereas AFLW Fantasy and Ebony Marinoff are a different beast. You're almost playing with fire if you are banking points.
Yeah, it probably depends on how I'm going in my head-to-heads. I think I'd probably 140 I'd take, I reckon. 135 iffy, I don't know. And I also just have a note on Webster Bales, 300k bringing in defender.
Yep. 3
scores in a row of 20 points means her price is probably not actually 300k. It's probably actually so if she's priced at 20, then her real price would be 250. So even if she scores well, she's probably not going to make it past 300k, if that makes sense. So the break even would actually be wrong for her because her real price is hidden. So if her last 3 scores have been 20. So if we just say she's priced at 20, she's priced at 251k. So even if she goes really well, she might not make it over that 300k minimum threshold, if that makes sense.
Yeah. What's her break even?
Well, I'm not sure because I don't know what her real price is.
Yeah.
Because the minimum is 300k, but I think underneath, like in the background, the prices do go below 300, but you just don't see it.
Jaiden, mate,
Did
the
the same
best
thing happen with men's?
Yeah, the same thing happens.
Yeah,
it's
okay,
200k, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can't
obviously,
you can't go under visually, but yeah, you're actually. I think that's how it works.
Yeah.
But it's impossible to know because we would never actually see that price. So yeah.
Yeah, Jaiden, I don't know what you're trying to do to me. You know for a fact that I never sort of lock in my trades at the best of times. And I sort of would go, Byron Webster. And then you got to go throw that spatter in. And I'm just, do I pick her? So I've still got her in. But yeah, we'll see. People in the Discord chat will definitely know what I'm on about there. But we will get to some questions. Also, make sure you guys keep sending those through on YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube, please leave a like on the video. That'd be very much appreciated as well. Be good to get like 20, 25, 30 people. Smash a like on the video. So make sure you do that. Make sure you subscribe as well to our channel as well. But the first one I'd want to chat about was, where'd it go? It disappeared. Here we go. From Russell Tasika. Liam, he says, any insight on Melbourne debutante Saray Taylor? So she's a 300k defender, making I think debut for Melbourne.
26-year-old former basketballer. I think averaged like a 40 or a 50 in the VFLW. Has played at Casey and then I think Port Melbourne when I was looking it up the other week. She's someone that's kind of gotten decent enough raps at times from Melbourne, but this is her second year on the list and she's only just getting a game. So I'm assuming she's pretty raw. Considering a tough matchup, I wouldn't be. It's not the type of player I want to launch into.
Yeah, so you'd be going Byron Webster over her, even if her price is, I guess, below 300k.
Yeah, I guess actually, JP, you might be able to help out with this one. If that's the case for Webster, is the case then not Borg, who at least has some more positive scores in her last three? Got Emily Borg, a 20, a 7, and a 29. Well, hers is also going to be stinky because she's got an average that's even lower.
Yeah, well, it's hard because there's also no price attached to each round, so you can't see how it's changed. I don't know when it went under 300, but I think it would have been up a little bit.
I definitely think it was up at one point when she went 57,942.
I think she should be significantly closer to 300k. She went down $5,000 this week, had a 29, and basement at the moment is around 24 points. So she's probably closer to that 300k than what Webster will be.
Yeah, in that case, I think given that Webster's situation, maybe leaning towards Borg.
Yeah, and then Borg over Taylor, not taking the punt on a debutant.
No. Cool. Not a debutant making a debut in week 8. In a side that's made, I reckon, 2 changes every week.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Porter got a couple of decent matchups as well to finish the year, so hopefully, well, that's probably mine sorted. So that's good. Let's go through some other questions. So we got Henry V say, hey guys, opted to trade Rowbottom out. Just wondering how you think she'll do this week. Well, I was chatting to Tom again last night about it. I think Rowbottom will go quite well with Whitford being back in. A few extra days rest compared to her double game week. She's got a couple of decent, like Sydney, and then she's got Port Adelaide, I believe, next week. I know Kenny might go to her, but we have said that Rowbottom is one of, if not the most probably untaggable player in the comp, just because of how contested she is. She lays tackles. I think, again, when she lays over 8 tackles, she generally goes pretty big. So, Liam, how do you think Rowbottom will go this week? So I think she'll bounce back to over 100 this week.
I'm not as confident, just because she just looks exhausted in a way that I've not seen before, and I don't know if it's going to bounce back in 1 week where she'll get the hardest tag in the comp.
Yeah,
I think it
so
might be in the next 2 weeks. We might see her back to her former self. I think Port Adelaide's a great matchup for her, and I think she'll also do well in the North matchup. I just don't love this week.
Yeah. That's a good shout. Yeah, the matchup maybe with the tag, maybe not as good. I'm sort of just banking on the fact of Rowbottom hopefully getting better and looking a bit better, fresher this week. But I guess we'll have to see because she has looked tired the last couple of weeks. Jaiden, thoughts on Rowbottom? Oh, Jaiden, you're on mute, mate.
Sorry.
That's the first time this season, Jaiden.
It's because I was looking up my research for this. I tried her out as well, and the thing is, like, the reason why Brisbane is so hard for midfielders is they're so low stoppage. So they've only averaged 75 stoppages this year. Gold Coast are also low, 75.5. So maybe that has a bit to do with it last week against Brisbane. Sydney are up there in the top 6 for stoppages. It's not Freo levels, but yeah, maybe she can get a bit of a bounce back from that with the tackles. Just from looking, she's had low scores against Geelong, who are a bottom 6 stoppage side, Collingwood, who's 11th, and Brisbane, who are like that, all below average kind of stoppage teams. And then the next 2 weeks, or the next 3 weeks, Sydney, Port, and North, they're all in the top 6 for stoppages. So maybe she can get some tackles there.
Yeah. Now the other flag, I guess, we'd Rowbottom, and I'm probably just looking at her stats now. Again, she's only turned up once since round 4. So she had a couple of 90s, the 126 against Hawthorn, and then the back-to-back 70s. So yeah, I'm probably a bit more optimistic than what the majority are. So I'd think, again, if you trade her out, if you go into a good midfield, I think that they're all sort of like really, really good players. They're all going to probably go well anyway there. So Russell Tasiga's got another question here. So he said, also downgraded to Peterson. Looked like she's held together with duct tape, used to use the cash to get strong. Yeah, it was unfortunate that Peterson didn't go to. I know a couple of the people in the Content Creators Cup did go down that path. Obviously, Jaiden, unfortunately, as you were saying, you brought her in, but also Eloise went and brought her in, which is obviously is not great for her. But I'm up against her in the Content Creators Cup this week, and I need to win. So maybe it might benefit me.
Smart.
I'll quickly go through the matchups quickly because I know people do want to hear about them. So I am up against Eloise this week, but it is very close at the top, sort of 5 or 6. There's still a few people that could make the finals, and all 3 of us up on here are still very much in the mix. Then you got JS is up against Liam, so that is 4th versus 6th. That is almost probably an eliminator one for the grand final there, because it's just the top 2 make the grand final with the 10-week season. Then you got Will is up against Jaiden. Jono is up against Jackson, and Mitch is up against Mel. So yeah, at the top it is Jaiden with 6-1. I'm 5-2. Then you've got a host of teams. You've got Eloise, Liam, and Mel are all 4-3, and it's going to be very interesting to see. Definitely, Liam and Mel will be hoping that Eloise can get the job done over me and make it an open race for the final week next week before we see who makes the grand final. So very, very interesting, and it's been a very good year so far. Let's go through some more questions.
Can I pose a question?
Yep.
You've got the choice. Do you go Rowbottom up to Garner or O'Dowd up to Strong?
Ooh.
Noting that you're probably banking a little bit of extra cash if you go Rowbottom up to Garner for next week.
I think in that scenario, I'm probably leaning to O'Dowd to Strong. And I think the reason I lean that way is because we're talking before about Goldsworthy up is different. It's a midfielder that's clearly not, again, with the role, is just not going to be near the top 5. Whereas I think we still think Rowbottom, even if she has a lower score this week, can still be there. But Strom, in the last 3 matchups, has got obviously West Coast this week. She's got GWS next week. And then Alice Edmonds went off injured last night. If she is not available for the final game, which she looks in a lot of pain, so I don't know if she will be, that's 3 incredibly easy matchups to finish. I think I'd be leaning just towards Strom and backing in Strom and Rowbottom over Garner and O'Dowd. But if Garner goes big this week and O'Dowd can go okay, then could be close. That's probably where I'm leaning. Jaiden?
I'm from your point of view, Bales, who do you not want like you own Garner, would you want your opponent this week bringing in Strom in the Content Creators Cup? Would you be nervous if it was Strom?
What makes you feel more uncomfortable?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I can see where this is bloody going. Because I've literally my brain sometimes can be quite slow, and I know for a fact that is trades AWST is looking at doing. So I think that she should go and bring in Bree Davey this week, who has got a tough matchup and not playing. So. Generally, I think that again, I'd be nervous about Strom going up against Strom, but I think Garner or Strom both going to go well. So I think she'll be bringing in a good scoring player regardless.
Yeah, I think that's where I lean, and I do think that Rowbottom has a chance to regain her form in the final 2 weeks. I think that the kind of weight she carries, both like theoretically and physically in a midfield that was without other people. I think it's another week of potentially lower scores, and she bumps back up next week.
So maybe you're thinking. Maybe you can trade Rowbottom out this week, and maybe you can look at bringing her back in next week and maybe save some cash. Maybe is that?
No, I don't love the idea of 1 week trade out, trade back in. Just too many other things go wrong, and if I want to keep them, like the trade is actually more valuable in most circumstances outside of insanely high BEs than the cash that you'll generate from the out and back in. I just think it's more like I can see more worlds where I regret trading out Rowbottom in those final 2 weeks than I do, regret, trading in Strom because O'Dowd turns into this superstar. I think the thing that complicates it is I didn't believe it would happen, but Fleur Davis has been dropped finally, and we've seen it every week. Ailish O'Dowd loves to score in the fourth quarter. It's almost like she rocked up at GWS's training and they won their 2 kilometre time trial, and she's a fit enough athlete to be able to do it and doesn't need 5 breaks on the bench per game. It's shocking, I know.
Yeah.
It was a waste of time. Fleur Davis is not a good ruck and she's not very fit. Like, why are you picking her? And I think that will free up some of her scoring. And I think that Hawthorn are obviously high stoppage team. I think she'll get out-muscled by Wales a lot. But then Lucy Wales has been named a full forward and Jess Fukic has been named in the ruck.
Yeah, exactly.
So she could be rucking up against a 19-year-old in a team that loves to generate stoppages.
Mm.
So it certainly was made more difficult with teams last night. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, agreed. We'll go through a couple questions here. We'll probably go for live for another 8 minutes or so because I'm actually catching up with Jake from Matchat tonight, so which will be good. So looking forward to that. Going to get some dinner there. What have we got here? So Corey said this one can't wait for McKee to be solo ruck next week. Yes, well she'll be, I think, a popular downgrade option next week. Scored 49 against Carlton last night. Edmonds I would imagine, would at least miss next week, if not potentially rest of the season. McKee would be potentially someone that might be the number 1 ruck for the last couple of weeks. Well, Jaiden, what would be her? I don't know if you would have a projected price just sort of there or what her break even was. She was 300K there, but again, she had a couple of low ones, so she could have been below that 300K sort of price there.
Well, yeah, if we just say she's 300K, then she's going up about $60,000. So 360 next week. A very nice option as someone with Power at F5. McKee's a great option to consider looping or bringing in there. I don't really want to spend money in the forward line. So yeah, she's definitely someone I'll consider next week.
Yep. No, I like it. Henry V, Field O'Dowd or Fiedler? Which is, well, then this is a tough one because both Renee Karras and Simone Holder have both been dropped.
No sense. That baffles me. So St Kilda tonight up against Schultz. Geez, it's such a similar situation. I just think that Fiedler's had the better score so far this year and has no one else really to ruck on that team. I like. There's Jesse Wardlaw. Yeah, I maybe just lean O'Dowd for a consistency. It does depend on league matchups and also how many points you're trying to chase down.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
I lean O'Dowd, but it's definitely possible that Fiedler could do another 75. She had, 80 in that game against GWS? Or something, 79 or something, how much I can remember what she ended up scoring.
Yeah. I think the safe play is probably O'Dowd, and if you're really looking to get an advantage, maybe Fiedler's the option. Yeah, she scored 76 against GWS, but she also had a 77 against Hawthorn as well. So a couple of those scores over the 70. So yeah, depends what situation you're in, Henry, what you're looking at doing. Eliza says, can I hold Breed at M5 against GWS? Jaiden is a good matchup, but is this the time of the year where we're just really trying to get these midfield premiums in?
Yeah, I'd like to hope you can move her on. The issue is
awkward price.
Yeah.
76.
But yeah, like these are the plays that you need to fix up unless before you go strong for 500k extra. But yeah, it is awkward. We've talked a little bit about those players close to $1 million, or Abby Dowrick is just under. So yeah, you can go for Bates around that price. I'd be looking to get her off. I'm not sure.
She's only had one score over 70 all year. And yes, I know she got injured in a game and she had a big quarter, then got rested forward. But yeah, I think it's time of the year where you got to try and get in these players that got these bigger ceilings. So I'd be trading.
I actually reckon that this is the week she could go like 110. Like she could.
Yeah, with the matchup.
Like there are a lot of defenders that I don't rate that highly at GWS. And she's such a strong player. The midfield from GWS is a bit spotty. She has to roll back again, another week off injury. It really does come down to what other pieces are you juggling across your team. She's not screaming out to me as, you must trade her out immediately in the same way that I have, say, my side with the Frizz at F4.
Yeah. Henry V saying here, Liam's profile picture on here looks like he's wearing a big whistle. Yeah, that's the free kick logo in the background. So there you go. Fracker has got this question. So combos here is going Hoare and Pounger as the combo, or go any two of McDonough, Too Good, Brennan, and Hamilton. So are we going Hoare and Pounger, or are we going two of the four? And who would we go of McDonough, Too Good, Brennan, and Hamilton, Jaiden? Which combo?
Interesting.
It's a good question.
Yeah,
question of the day goes to Fracker.
I'm probably willing to take a punt on the kind of mid-price forwards because I think while Hoare is F1, she's got Richmond and Hawthorn, so two negative midfield matchups. Who did she play? So coming off 100 last week.
She's good, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Pounger's a bit of someone that I've thought over way too much this week. I'm not really sure what she's going to do.
I don't know if GWS is sure what she's going to do just yet.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of leaving her there. But yeah, I'm willing to have a punt. I'm probably thinking McDonough and Brennan are probably my two favourites of those.
I know Brennan's got Melbourne. I'm just a bit nervous about the Talia Gillard matchup. That's my only. True. I forgot to say that before when we talk about Brennan. But then Too Good's got North, and Cindy Hamilton's got Gold Coast, which is not too bad. She's been good. So could go Hamilton if you want to punt. I'm not sure. It's a good question. It's a tough one. It's probably really who you like and who you want. Liam, any thoughts from you?
Given the fact that Hoare is a traded option, it does then become a question of what does your team ownership look like? What are you trying to achieve? Because Kate Hoare is the second most highly owned player in the top 1,000 or something around that mark. And if you're just looking to match and you've got enough pods elsewhere, then I would actually prefer doing Pounger and Hoare. Otherwise, I think McDonough's number one target. I think just for a price, I might go Too Good, then Brennan, and then Cynthia Hamilton. Cynthia Hamilton's role's just been super inconsistent.
Yeah.
But of those other three outside of McDonough, she might be the one who has the highest ceiling potential this week. I just can't pick what role she's going to play each week. She had that amazing role against GWS, popped back into the midfield, look like the kind of top 10 pick that she'd been drafted for, and then play the Western Bulldogs, and Sydney just, crap the bed. So I just have a really hard time, at least with those other three. I'm like, I know what that's going to look like each and every week.
Yeah. I'll probably lean Too Good just over Brendan if you're going McDonough and Too Good as well. Yeah, because the Hamilton, you make a good point. It's a bit all over the place and you're not quite sure. But as you say, it probably depends on what you're looking at doing, Fracker, for the last few weeks of the season. Corey was just saying, do we think that McKee will be solo ruck with Edmonds being out next week? Liam is, I don't know if Bulldogs have even got any other rucks because obviously Borg's out for the season with a knee. Would she, I imagine she'd just be the only option.
They could also use El Bennett as a possibility in the ruck, who's been playing on a wing at 35, which is extremely impressive. There's not a whole lot of options at the Bulldogs. Funnily enough, Christy Lee Weston Turner built more like a ruck than she's a forward. So, and she's very tall, but she's also not. I don't reckon she's going to play. Her ankle is cooked. I'm just having a quick look at the ruck contest just to see if there's anyone else that I've missed.
We're talking about Kirsley Weston Turner with an ankle. It was funny last night. She was jumping around with all the teammates and jumping on people's shoulders and stuff on one leg. It was actually quite funny. And she's very, very happy with the win. That's for sure. Yeah,
I reckon it's McKee. We might also see a bit of Twiggy Hartwig.
Yeah, that's a decent shout. But yeah, at least at the worst case, McKee will definitely get extra CBAs and will have a better role. So definitely someone we'll be looking at next week. And I reckon on that, actually, no, we got one more. We got Super Chat from Sam. The last question here. He said, thoughts on who to pick out of Gabby Newton, Maddie Gay, and Daisy Darcy? It's a good question there. Liam, I know you guys mentioned on the pod, and I talked about it with Jaiden on Monday. I'm really intrigued by the Gabby Newton pick, and I like the Gabby Newton pick if you're looking for someone as a real pod. And I don't like the Maddie Gay matchup this week. She like Richmond, not too bad, and then the final match against Carlton's good. And then Daisy Darcy's highly owned. She's again very good player. But the North Melbourne matchup around 10, maybe I'm not loving, but. Yeah, maybe Newton for me, but Liam, thoughts?
I think it's Newton, and I've kind of I wish I had the money to be able to turn Friswell into Danielle Ponta, who should have a great score, I reckon, this week, to then allow me to turn Maeve Chaplin into Gabby Newton. I think I'm like 20k short. Great role, great matchups for the rest of the season, extremely unique, but if only because we haven't trusted the role until mid-season, at which point it made some less sense to trade her in given her price. So I think I'm going 1 Newton, 2 Maddie Gay, 3 Dizzy Darcy, but all three are excellent options.
Yeah. Liam? So you just answered the question. Jaiden?
I quite like Newton. But yeah, like these, they're all around that same price as what like Newman is. And I always talk about how Newman is so expensive. So I can't really say Daisy Darcy is like so much better than Newman when they kind of play fairly similar. So yeah, I think Newton is my favourite. Maddie Gay is like a great watch if you own her with +6s just in the back line. It'll all happen in probably one quarter, but
she doesn't like
points in one quarter.
Yeah, the first was it the first and third quarter she doesn't like. The second and fourth quarter she likes scoring in. So
yeah, so I like Newton just from that kind of role security a bit. And yeah, she was someone that I would have loved to pick at the start of the year because I wanted a Freo player, but I haven't had any of them.
Yeah, Yeah, no, yeah. I think that in the order, Sam, you've got it. Newton, Gay, Darcy's how we'd be ordering it, I reckon. And yeah, Gabby Newton is the pick that we'd all go for. So go for that. And hopefully that helps you rise up the rankings, being a bit of a pod there as well. So, but on that note, we will stop it there as well. We've got about 35 minutes to go until the game between Port Adelaide and St Kilda kick off. I've only got the one player tonight, and that being Gemma Houghton, who's my pod. So hopefully she goes really well, but I'm sure Eloise is hoping that she doesn't score very well at all. But yeah, so in terms of my trades, just quickly for people that missed it before, I'm going Best Shilling to Borg from Port Adelaide now. Change that, just the rookie shuffle there. Going Carly Ramos down to Hayley McLaughlin, and going Zali Goldsworthy up to Ash Riddell. If I want to get Ash McCarthy as well, I'm to save 100k for trades next week, I might do that, but at the moment it is Riddell. And captain is Marinoff, vice captain is Rowbottom, because she's the only one I can really loop to see a score. Jaiden, mate, for people that missed 4 trades and captain.
Yeah, last night I did Goldrick to Peterson, so that's given me cash pretty much, no points really. So I've gotten Friswell to McDonough and Maddie Prasparkas to Garner, and hopefully Garner can beat her head-to-head.
Yep. Beautiful. And Liam, mate, for people missed before, your trades and captain?
Noffy, not even going to question it. Chaplin to Gilroy, the Frizz to McDonough, and Ariana Goderington to Tanisha Kikowak.
Beautiful. I love the Goderington nickname there. Beautiful. Well, Liam, mate, thank you very much for jumping on once again tonight to jump on and answer some questions. Where can the people find you across the socials? You
can find me on Twitter at Liam AFLW Fantasy and on the Free Kick W Pod.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Liam, for jumping on. Jaiden, mate, where can the people find you?
Yeah, you can find all the stuff I reference on my website, statsbyjaiden.com.au. And yeah, that's pretty much where everything you may need for this and what we talk about with break evens, fixture, everything like that.
Yep, perfect. Beautiful. Make sure you guys go and check out and follow Jaiden. And you can find me at Bales DT. You'd find Mitch at Ball Boys Fantasy. Hopefully we can get him on one more time or 2 times before the season. Obviously, he's very busy with his NBA fantasy stuff. So hopefully, if you guys are in your NBA fantasy, make sure you go and subscribe to Ball Boys Fantasy Basketball. And yeah, you can find us at AFL Fantasy Fans on Twitter. And as always, if you guys are watching on YouTube live or on the replay, please make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're listening back on the podcast, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. That'd be very much appreciated. It only takes a couple of seconds of your time, and it really helps us out a lot. We'll be back on Tuesday for a normal pod for a round review, which we'll be recording on Monday night. So looking forward to that. Good luck, everyone, this week. Hopefully we can all enjoy another good week. Be good with no double game weeks to come. Hopefully you guys can get to where you want to be ranked or your league matchups, and hopefully some good scores. And we'll chat to you guys next week. Have a good weekend, guys. See ya.
See ya.